All of that. So, anyhow, now we're here. I will do an intro because we're really shit at doing intros.
Cool.
But I'm Martin. Welcome to the Allegedly Thriving podcast, the weekly podcast where we ask ourselves and anybody else who happens to be in the room whether they are thriving or merely surviving the wonderful world of small businesses in the Northeast. Now, Issy's on holiday today, not just today, this whole week, recharging, trying not to think about work. So I've got my very good friend James with me today to talk about what he's up to. And I'm going to start, as I start all of these podcasts, with the question. I mean, that's a lie. I don't always start the podcast. Sometimes we don't ask this question right till the end. But I'm going to ask you the question, James. Welcome to the podcast. And first of all, introduce yourself and tell us, are you thriving or surviving?
Thanks, mate. So I'm James, long-time friend of Martin's. Currently teaching music and doing various other side hustles, which we're going to cover today. Let's answer the question first. Being honest, right now, I'd probably say surviving.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. See, we like a good surviving because that means there's loads to question.
Lots of potential to thrive, but currently couldn't put myself in the thriving category wholeheartedly.
Okay. So how? What's happening? Why are you just surviving?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, surviving sounds worse than it actually is, I guess. So currently happy, and I would consider myself doing well, but am I thriving in all the areas I want to? No. So what do I do currently? So currently I teach music to kids, to primary school kids, Monday to Friday. I go to 10 different schools and I teach kids how to play together in a band. And honestly, it is an absolutely freaking awesome job and I love it, right? For so many reasons.
I mean, it sounds horrendous in my mind, but you know how I feel about children. So,
right.
I mean, all I've got an image now of is, you know, there's that whole School of Rock thing with Jack Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with feral kids.
And you're not too far wrong.
Okay, cool.
It kind of is a little bit like that. It's very much the School of Rock vibe, but with behavioural issues that aren't covered in the film.
So are you Jack Black in this?
Pretty much, but in a legal, DBS cleared, official way.
Do you think Jack Black would ever pass a DBS check?
Absolutely not. No, not in the character that he played. No, I think he was there like under false pretenses, wasn't he, in the film?
Yeah, he was like a roadie or something who just ended up being a teacher.
Yeah,
he wouldn't pass checks.
I mean, but what I do like is some of the stuff that he did. And
he certainly would have passed a randomised drug test.
100% not. No. So when we talk about this job, a lot of people go, oh yeah, Jack Black, School of Rock. And yeah, there are some similarities, but it's way hard work. It is really difficult. But you do get these occasional moments where it feels like you're in some kind of film. Because when it clicks, or when a kid learns a new thing, for example, they learn how to use the feet and the hands when drumming, and it just happens, and they're so buzzing, and they're so happy and excited, that's a truly rewarding moment. Or when a really shy kid who won't sing in rehearsals gets up on stage to do the concert and absolutely belts out a tune. Seriously proud moments, right? It's those little golden nuggets that make that job incredibly rewarding. And I would say in that respect, thriving, yes, right? So that's the day job. Absolutely love it. It's hard work, it's exhausting, but it's incredibly rewarding, right? So it's the other stuff that we're talking about, isn't it, mainly today? So
well, we can talk about whatever you want, to be honest. I mean, what I want to know, first of all, I mean, just going briefly back onto the whole teaching side of things, is you've been doing it for nearly a year now.
Yeah.
So have you had the, oh, Captain, my Captain moment yet? Or is that not happening?
What do you mean?
Oh, have you not seen that?
Explain.
Dead Poets Society.
Right, go on.
You not seen Dead Poets Society?
No.
Robin Williams.
No.
Oh, okay. All sorts of stuff happens, but they all stand in solidarity with the teacher.
Right.
They stand up, oh, Captain, my Captain. They stand up and they support him and all of that.
These are primary school children. We're talking like 6-year-olds up to sort of like 10-year-olds.
Okay, fine.
Right. So
that's me.
I'm going to say probably not.
Probably not. Okay, fine. That's fine.
No, there are some moments, mind, where some of the older kids, it's really cute. I've seen some of them try and emulate my role. So, like, it could be anything from where they tell another kid to shut up if they're not being quiet, or if they're playing the drums when I'm trying to teach someone else, and they'll just take it upon themselves to go, shut up, Tommy, or whoever it is. And then some of them will just copy some of the techniques that I do, like when I'm conducting the band and I'm clapping them in time and doing the click. I see some of the kids copying that, and that's adorable, right? That's kind of like imitation's the highest form of flattery or whatever, right?
No, that's cool.
So that kind of stuff happens, yeah.
So you're out there influencing young minds in their creativity and
Yeah.
building confidence and all of that.
Yeah.
But that's your main job, your day job. But I know, because we talk quite a lot, that that's not your real passion. That's kind of getting you to where you want to be.
It's working in the right field.
Exactly.
And,
So
yeah.
what is it you really want to do?
Right, well, it's kind of... Good question this, Martin, thanks. So,
Well, it was a leading question. It's part of the reason we're doing the podcast. So,
Yeah.
I felt I had to get
yeah.
there.
I'm kind of a little bit doing it, but I feel like I'm at the beginning, hence the surviving part of this. So it's in its very early stages, but I've got this vision about getting a whole generation of kids really excited about electronic music, so synthesizers and drum machines. I'm doing this, which means I'm excited, right, when this comes out. Right?
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, we are actually filming this one as well. We've got the lens caps off, so I can actually get the footage of you just going.
For those that aren't watching, it's some sort of
Exactly.
hand gesture that looks a little inappropriate.
Kind of a bit gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yeah, it's just it's the happy feelers, right?
Yeah, don't do it that way. Yeah, this way, not that way.
So what am I trying to do? So yeah, I've got this vision in my mind about a whole generation coming up being very excited about synthesizers and drum machines and just generally creating not just digital music, but music in general. It's about getting a whole generation to just continue to embrace the creativity and make their own music, right? So
I mean, I've got to applaud the vision, because, I mean, that's a broad vision. You want a whole generation. You know what I mean? Well on.
Yep.
Well done, you.
damn right.
Love it.
Yeah. So we were talking earlier on, and we don't want to go down a rabbit hole or tangent, but in today's modern world that we live in, AI is prevalent. You can literally say some prompts and a full song comes out, right? But where's the fun in that? Where's the reward? Where's the creativity? It's just a thing that happens. There's so much joy to be had in actually creating and going through that process yourself and it being entirely yours. And that's something I'm really keen to sort of take kids through as a journey and give them the sort of means and direction to do so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So currently, I have a thing called Junior Producer Club. And this is where kids typically book in for a 4-week program. And over the course of that 4 weeks, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's a little shorter, but typically 4 weeks is the sweet spot at the moment that I've found. And during that time, the kids will come over and they'll visit my studio, which is an Imaginarium of synthesizers and drum machines. You've seen it, it's ridiculous, right?
Is Imaginarium the collective noun of synths? Because if it's not,
It
it
ought to
needs to be,
It ought
right?
to be. I have an Imaginarium of synthesizers.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
brilliant. That's better than a murder of crows. That I love that.
The collective noun
An
for synths.
Imaginarium of synthesizers.
I think if it wasn't, it is now, mate.
Oh,
right?
I think okay.
Yeah.
We need to get that trending.
Yeah.
All 5 people listening, please.
Yeah.
Hashtag Imaginarium.
Imaginarium. Yeah. Exactly. So these kids will come round, and ultimately, over the course of the junior producer journey, I will guide them through various steps. I will let them do all the decision making, right? They come up with all the ideas, and I'll just guide them in a direction in order to extract whatever's in their brains, whatever ideas they've got. It's my job to extract those and get those down so that they can then materialize and the kid can hear and see them, right?
So you must get a lot of, the first couple of weeks must just be everything, like everything being chucked in the mix.
Yeah.
Sound effects.
Yeah.
Every kind of guitar sound, every beat you can possibly think of, all in one.
100%.
Oh, that's got to be difficult listening.
Oh yeah. So
Is this
yeah.
the Ross in Friends when he got into synths type scene?
Yes. You're dead on, mate, right? So imagine, because typically age group we're looking at here is between sort of like 8 to 16. So imagine the younger end of this age group, sort of ask an 8-year-old to design a car. It's going to have rockets on it. It's going to have flames coming out the sides. It's going to have wings. This kind of stuff is what you see an 8-year-old do in musical form, right? So one of the kids that came in literally wanted machine guns, lasers, helicopters. And the way that I tackle it is certainly the first session, right? It's about getting them acclimatized to the Imaginarium of synths, right? And helping them feel comfortable in knowing that there are no wrong answers. You can't break anything. Basically, do the things, right? Play the thing, twiddle with that fader, see what happens kind of thing. If they can get out of that initial nervousness, which is what I make sure they do in the first 5 minutes, as soon as they get in, it's like, right, you're going to touch that, you're going to play with that, you're going to hear this, right? Once they get through that, there are no wrong answers. I say, right, what kind of thing do you want to make? What kind of sound do you want to hear? What kind of track do you want to make? And once we get that decision from the kid, that's where the direction starts. And session 1 is about throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. So getting all the ingredients out there. So it will be machine guns, weird sounds, stuff that makes no sense. And we'll just throw it all down and everything's a yes from me. Yes, you can, right? What else do you want to hear? A guitar that's really loud and really rad? Cool, let's do that. Let's record that. You want to hear an explosion? Brill, that's going in too. And it'll all get laid out. And it's essentially, I describe it to them as sort of ingredients before you're making a dish or a cake, right? Let's hear all the ingredients first. And that's how we start the process, right? Nothing's a wrong answer. Make the weird sounds, put the weird stuff out there, get it down. If that's done in the first session, cool. What we typically see is a bit of a reaction from the parents, which is like, what the hell is this?
What am I paying for?
But the kid's like, mint, look at all the stuff that I wanted. It's all there, right? That's session 1. And it's not as formulaic as I'm making out, right? It varies for each kid. But typically the first session is, let's get some stuff down. Anything. Nothing's a bad idea, right? And from there, we just refine it. And that's when I start to steer it in a direction by using either or questions. So, reminding the kid what their vision is. Let's say you wanted to make a rock song. Okay, so what do you think should be in a rock song? Guitars? Great. Shall we record some guitars today? Yeah? Brilliant. Cool. Get the guitars out, right? Sort of gently nudging them down that path, but then whatever they do with that guitar, it's on them. It's up to them, right? There'll be various bits that work and various bits that don't work so well. And I'll tend to highlight, oh, did you hear that bit that you did there? That was mint. Shall we use that? This could really work. Listen to this. Boop. And I'll just show them and they go, oh, yeah, cool. They've made the decision. I've just gently guided them towards it, right? We just repeat that process and they end up coming out with a really good finished product.
That is really cool.
It is pretty cool.
That.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
I think what I like most about that is that I don't have kids, so I don't know. The only education system I can base it on is the one I went through, and anecdotally what I know of education systems, which isn't huge. But what I love about your approach is the fact that there is structure, but there's no visible structure. There isn't a right or a wrong way of doing it. Whereas I think almost every other educational kind of guideline that there is a right and a wrong way of doing things. And that some subjects it makes sense. Yeah, some subjects absolutely. There's the right way and there's the wrong way. Yeah. But I think we get really used to getting young, mobile, and kind of spongy minds, really kind of free minds. And very early on, we try and put them into these rigid little structures. Yeah. And we completely destroy creativity. And I think you can see that. You can see that in the way kids are these days and everything like that. I think the creativity just seems to be dying. And I think what you're doing is brilliant because it helps people realize that there are no boundaries. There may be, limits to what technology can give, but other than that, whatever you believe, you can create, and it's up to you to decide whether it's good or bad.
Right. It's that freedom, right?
I love it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. You made me think of something. We might have to edit some of this so I don't get in trouble, right? So there is a school that I go to, and there's a freelance music teacher that comes along and he teaches these kids what sounds like, I think it's supposed to be clarinet, but it actually sounds like a room full of strangled geese. You know, when you get a whole lake full of geese and they're all kicking off at night time. It sounds a bit like that, sort of strangled geese sound. And for the past, 6 months, I've heard them do the same set of songs. So he'll turn up, they'll see the notes or whatever they're doing to get the structure of the song, and it's just rinse and repeat every week. I'm not saying they don't enjoy that, right? But it is so formulaic and structured that it's like, right, there's your instrument, here's what we're going to do again, and it's the same stuff.
So
that feels to me like that box that you just described.
So I remember learning guitar, classical guitar, when I was in my teens, and early years and teens, and it was very much like that.
Yeah.
And I think learning an instrument from scratch. I think a lot of people teach themselves guitar. They'll do things like they'll learn chords, they'll teach themselves chords and stuff like that. But I think when you get to the more classical side of things, I don't think a lot of people pick up a violin and teach themselves violin.
No,
I think they go to classes and they have to go through the scales and the arpeggios and all these little things, and you have to practice and practice and practice and just ad infinitum to get good at them.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of skills you learn in doing that. There's a lot of reward you get, but there's a lot of effort you have to put in. It's a good lesson in effort and reward. But it's hard, and you go through a long period of it sounding shit. And I find the older I get now, the harder I find it is going through that period of everything shit, knowing that it will get better.
Yeah.
Because I really hate being shit at something. The advantage I think you've got is that, to an extent with the synths, you're programming sounds into the synths. So you're just pressing a key. I don't want to sit there and take away from the skill that's involved, because I've seen you making stuff, and Jesus, it's like an old telephone exchange with twiddly knobs, and
you've got to love the wires,
sliders, and sine waves and all of this shit. It's brilliant. But at the same time, it's pressing keys, and if you've got certain sounds or certain keys, then I can see how a child can quite easily make something that's really, really rewarding, as opposed to spending 4 hours trying to learn a clarinet.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
All you've learnt in 4 hours is...
You're dead on. You're absolutely right. It's almost that instant gratification that I think is a winner. And to be able to create a track in 4 weeks is very quick, right? Versus 4 weeks of learning a violin, for example, you would see some small incremental progress. But yeah, the different worlds, right? So it's probably unfair to compare what I'm doing to the field of strangled geese, right? So you raise a good point, though. I think it
wasn't my intention to sit there and try and defend the strangled geese. You would hope that in 6 months they'd at least be less strangled.
Yeah.
If they're still strangled after 6 months, something ain't working.
Less asphyxiated geese, more
those poor geese.
Free range geese.
Have we turned into maybe asphyxiated fowl? Maybe guineas. We've gone to robins.
Or just
ducks.
A swan with a throat infection.
A swan with a throat infection.
I feel like we've gone down a tangent here, mate.
That always happens, don't worry. That's what this podcast is about, tangents. Anyhow.
So, hopefully we've got a bit of a gist about Junior Producer Club.
Yeah, cool.
So at the moment, it's in its early stages. I'm still in the pilot phase, which I'm really enjoying because the whole purpose of a pilot is to learn. And I honestly thought in the beginning that I'd be able to do almost some kind of formula, like week 1, we're going to lay down a beat. Week 2, we're going to add some melody to it. Week 3, we'll da-da-da, right? Absolutely not the case. It's just, right, in those 4 weeks, how can I bring their ideas to life? And it's different for every kid, depending on what they want to do and how they learn, how quickly they learn, what the preferential learning style is. It all varies, right? But ultimately, it's just getting those ideas out. So my goal is, in the short term, to increase the number of people on that pilot, get more feedback, test, learn, improve, iterate, right? That kind of stuff. Got a bit corporate there saying iterate, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you spent 20 years working for Sage, so I think we'll forgive you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And you know what? I'm grateful for those 20 years because it has allowed me to buy an entire studio's worth of stuff, which is great. Longer term, though, I've got a vision in my head for group sessions, right? So probably moving away from my home studio and moving into some kind of space, either renting a space or whatever, free space, whatever, like community centre. I haven't yet defined where it's going to be, but I want to get 5 or 6 kids around a table with either a synth or a drum machine, or maybe their own identical synth station, not fully figured that out, but something that gives them immediacy and live tweakability and something that sounds absolutely amazing very quickly. They'll all go through a mixer, everyone's on headphones, every kid has got a specific job to do, and it'll be challenging but fun, right? So it might be like, Martin, you're going to make this bass line. Here's a synth that sounds amazing for bass. Here's what you can do with it. Your job is to program in these notes and make it sound like you want it to sound, kind of thing. Everything will be synchronized, so everything's in time for a start. Massive win. And then essentially I want to record a synth jam. So all of these kids are doing something, but they're all contributing to the same track and they're hearing it in real time. Again, under my careful guidance and direction. It'll still be their ideas, but it'll be within the parameters that I set, so I know it will sound great, right? And then during that session, we record that synth jam. So within an hour, they have fun, they make loads of weird and wonderful and wacky and amazing noises. Hopefully along the way they understand and they learn how they did that. So they've learned a little something about synths and drum machines along the way. So if and when they come to do that again, they'll be able to go, oh, I know that the cutoff makes it sound like this, you know, stuff like that. But again, the immediacy of it is after that hour, they go away with a track that the grown-ups can hear and that they can share with the mates, and they can say, I did this jam over the weekend with these other people. It could be the mates, it could be people that they don't know.
So they got something tangible out of it straight away that they can share and listen to again and be like, I made this.
Yeah, imagine like,
That's
say,
cool.
house music or something, or like, probably showing my age, but like Orbital or something really experimental that Bjork might do or something, right? Just getting a bunch of kids around a bunch of electronic gear and making something like that that is theirs, and that hour will fly by, right? And by the end of it, they've just got this thing. Like,
so what do you need to make that a reality?
This is a good question, right? And I know you and I have chatted about this in the past outside of this podcast, right? So I currently have some gear that could be used, but ideally I need a bit more gear, I think, in terms of either identical synth stations or just something that's a bit more portable and child friendly, so that basically I need enough instruments to enable 5 or 6 kids to do that as a group. So it's the technology is one of the things, not necessarily a blocker, just something that needs to be put in place. I need a space to do it, and then there will need to be some kind of structure, and like I mentioned about sort of control parameters in order to make sure each kid is set up for success. So a bit of thought around sort of the specific things that I'd be asking them to do in order to make sure that it all fits together and sounds amazing.
So you need money for equipment, although that's not a deal breaker at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You need a venue.
Yes.
Which is something you do need help with.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody was listening that had a venue that might be suitable, they need to get in touch.
That would be amazing, yeah.
Spot on. Not that anyone listens, but, you know, you've got to ask.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
You know, you might share this with a bunch of your mates, and who knows?
Exactly.
And then you need to get your head down and do some work, because it sounds like that third one's all about you.
It is, mate. It is.
Cool.
And 100% on me, that third point, right?
Okay. Cool. So if somebody is listening to this and they're interested in the Junior Producer Club, in unleashing the creative potential within their child from a musical perspective, and not just that, because obviously a lot of the things that you're going to teach these kids are transferable skills. They'll be able to work elsewhere. It's basically about enriching their entire brains.
Yeah.
How would they get in touch with you?
Ooh, good question.
I have them.
I didn't really think about this question, Martin.
I mean, it's kind of central to business.
Yeah, getting in touch is quite important.
Yeah.
I was kind of going to do one of those build it and they will come type of things.
You still need a contact.
No, it's true. My email is juniorproducerclub@gmail.com.
Nice.
So we've got that far. I've got a
cool.
JPC email.
That's cool.
So any sort of interest or inquiries can go to that email. Yeah, that would be the best way to get in touch, basically.
Cool.
You mentioned some of these sort of transferable skills and that kind of stuff, because, like, first and foremost in my mind, I'm like, wouldn't it be super cool and amazing to get these kids around the table doing a synth jam? It would just be, firstly, it would just be the most epic thing ever, right? But the things that then quickly follow in terms of what's really important, you mentioned a few of these life skills, right? But think about it, 5 or 6 kids around a table, it's teamwork, right? It's collaboration. In some cases, it might be compromise. Right, there's 2 kids with competing parts. Who's going to decide who does what? How does that work? There's the sort of problem solving and critical thinking skills. Right, all of these things come into play And people don't necessarily realise that this is the case in music, but in that environment, all of those things would come out. And I think ultimately, you mentioned confidence building. That is a constant that I see throughout my day job and that I've seen in Junior Producer Club so far, that kids' confidence increases exponentially the more that they realise that they can actually do without boundaries. And when they see the final product, or when they hear it in this case, they're absolutely buzzing, and it just kind of like explodes their creativity and confidence. It's like a cycle of positivity. So I think a lot of that good stuff will come out of these group sessions as well. You know, and if one of those kids out of however many sessions goes away and says, Mum or Dad, I want a synth for Christmas, then my work is done. Like,
cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this podcast has essentially been an infomercial for you, which was the point in doing it as well. It's fine. It's fine. So we normally then, after we've determined whether we're thriving or surviving, I'm thriving, by the way. But, you know, didn't ask me. It's fine. I'm good. You didn't know the format of the show? It's fine.
I know you are.
It's fine.
Right? I've seen you
I see.
in action,
it's the tacit
mate.
just assumption that I am thriving. Okay,
it's
fine.
a fact.
It is a fact. No, I'm always thriving. I'm very rarely surviving, to be fair. It's a mindset. In reality, I am just like a swan, you know, gliding peacefully above, and underneath everything's going, fuck!
Not a throat-infected swan, though. No.
Well, it'll be, fuck! So no. So no, I think we normally end on some more light-hearted questions, sometimes some silly ones, but I can't think of a really silly one. But what I am interested in is getting an idea of your tastes. So what's the one film you could just watch over and over again and never get tired of?
Easy answer, Back to the Future, all day long.
Oh, you're one of those.
Every day.
You're a BTF.
I'm going to see it
BTTF.
at the Eat Flicks.
Oh, you love that Eat Flicks,
yes,
don't you?
I do, mate.
Oh, I don't get it.
I'm interested to see what food they're going to bring out to my favourite ever film of all time.
Nice.
It's such a film. The music, just everything. Marty McFly. I mean, I try and ask as many primary school kids as possible if they've seen Back to the Future, and if they haven't, I tell them to go and watch it, because if only for that Johnny Be Good scene where he's playing the guitar.
I'm assuming a lot of them haven't.
No, they're like, what? Back to the what now?
Especially with Back to the Future 2. Oh no, it is Back to the Future. Because I forget. I forget which one is it where they actually go to the future. That's 2.
That's the first
The
one.
hoverboard.
Yeah, hang on, wait. So that's 2. That's number 2.
The first one, they go back in time.
Yeah, that's right.
And then have to get back to the future. They get stuck in the past. Whereas in the second one, they go to the future.
Yeah.
With the hoverboards
Which is
and stuff.
Hilarious watching it now.
But because it's now the past for us.
Yeah. And
I think they go through to 2012 or something like that, or something.
Yeah.
No, maybe not 2012, but something like that. But we've passed it.
Although, not to get too political, mate, but I think they did predict the whole rise of Donald Trump in the Biff character. You know, when he illegally won all the money at the casino and then started to sort of rule the world.
Oh, and, we try to steer away from the tangerine monster.
Yeah.
But if you get me started on him, Jesus,
it'll be a long podcast.
Oh, it just would never stop.
No,
but we could go into local elections as well, but we shouldn't do that.
Let's definitely not do that.
Steer clear of politics. Yeah. Fair enough. So the film you could watch over and over again.
100%.
Back to the Future. Yep. That's cool.
What was that absolutely insane thing you showed me that time in the motorhome on the laptop?
Well,
what the hell was that?
That was Kung Fury. That was 28 minutes of absolute goodness, and I have mentioned it before on the podcast for Issy to listen to watch.
I've still not recovered from it.
I know. They keep talking about potentially doing a feature-length sequel with Michael Fassbender, but
wow,
I think they're struggling just to get it across the line.
I don't even know what genre we would put that down as, but
it's just mental.
Yeah,
mental.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Brilliant. Laser raptors.
Mm-hmm. The guy that gets bitten off the snake 3 times or something.
It's just amazing. You know what I mean? Kung Fury. He's the Kung Führer.
It's just mad.
It's brilliant. I love it. If anybody hasn't watched it, Kung Fury, I don't know what it's on these days, but find it.
Check
Brilliant.
it out.
28 minutes. Michael Fassbender. You will not be disappointed.
100%.
Okay, well, I think we will draw that to a close. So thank you for listening to the Allegedly Thriving podcast special edition with James Clark,
Thanks
the
for having me,
founder
mate.
of the Junior Producer Club.
Thank you very much.
Deets will be in the bio if you're interested in engaging his services in any way, shape or form. Musically only, please. Nothing else. His wife would not be happy. Thanks all.
Cheers. Thanks, Martin.
It's all right.
Thanks, buddy.
It's your first podcast.
Thanks, dude. That was fun.
What I might do is